If you live in the UK today, you genuinely cannot afford to skip this video. Because by the end of this video, I will be showing you one of the biggest hacks to retiring faster. And unfortunately, the brutal reason many individuals will not be able to retire comfortably. Now, please listen closely. Did you know that to retire comfortably at 55, you will need well over 1.5 million pounds? Now, hold it. Let us sink in a little bit more. Yes. 1.5 million pounds. Most people will never even come close to that number. And here's the part that scares me. The full UK state pension right now is only around £12,500. And with this, we are talking about roughly £241 per week and well over £1,000 per each calendar month. Now, let's genuinely think about this. Can you survive on £1,000 in UK today? Talk less of the future. Now, let me break this down. I'm talking about your bills, your mortgage, your utility, your food, your fuel, your council tax. See, the bills are endless. That is what we're talking about. And unfortunately, the current pension age in UK today is 66. Remember, there is a review moving that to 67 between the year 2026 to 2028. And so between 2026 and 2028, the state pension age will migrate to 67. That means after 2028, there is a potential review to move 67 upwards. I can't preempt or predict the future, so I'll drop it right there and I'll stick to what the factors today. 66. So now that we have an overview of what the pension figures look like, let's assume we are a little bit ambitious and so we want to retire at the age of 55. Now, please don't tell me that it's not possible. I know some people who have retired at 40 and 45. I am not there yet. And so please, I can't question that. All right. When I get to their age, maybe I can talk about that. But for the purpose of today, it means from now till 67, that is 12 years. We need to fund and survive within this space. But this is where reality hits, because a lot of people keep saying, I want to retire early, I want to retire early, but they've never taken the chance or the opportunity to put the maths together. And this is the reason why you can't skip any part of this video. And so now, in our bit of ambition, let's be a little bit realistic to ourselves. If we want to retire at 55, and our comfortable expense livelihood is £30,000 a year, then mathematically, we need about £360,000 to retire at 55. Now, what did I do? I only divided, or instead of me saying divided, I only multiplied £30,000 by 12, and then I go 360. So this is nothing scary, all right? So that is £360,000 divided by £30,000. That is 12 years. Because that 12 years is the gap that we feel. Because after that gap, the state pension kicks in. And remember, I talked about you receiving £1,000 per calendar month, which is also not enough for us to survive on. And so the £360,000 is only a buffer. I call it a mediation for that period. It doesn't mean that is your pension figure. That is what we need until we get to 67. Now, let's inculcate what is going to take place within this season. Now, remember, this is only to bridge the gap. And so I have considered before anything, inflation, healthcare, travel, rising living costs, emergencies. Once again, here is where it gets scary. Most financial experts have estimated that to retire comfortably in the UK today, one will need well around £43,000 as a living cost. And so let's use that figure. So for example, if you want to retire at 55, so one want to retire at the age of 55 and live well up to 90 years old, that is 35 years of retirement. So in using that figure, that is 35 years multiplied by £43,000. And that gives us well over £1.5 million. Yeah, that is real. Yeah. That is a reality. £43,000 living expense per year. You want to go on holiday, don't you? You want to pay for the medical bill, don't you? You want to support family, don't you? You want to be a good granddad, a good grandmommy, don't you? Okay. Then expert says, you need around £43,000. So for 35 years, then we need 1.5 million. It looks scary, but I'm about to show you one of the fastest way to bridge that gap. All right, so we've been talking about retiring at 50. Let's move it a little bit top notch. So now we want to retire at 60. Yeah, so we're still ambitious because remember, it's 67. So we've kicked out 7 years, 60, a little bit more realistic. And so 60, but we need £43,000. So once again, the same maths. If we live to 90, that means we are going on 30 years retirement. So that means 30 years multiplied by £43,000. And that gives us about 1.2 million. So 129 something it may give us. We're still over £1 million. So you see, the reality hits in there. 55 over £1 million. 60 years over £1 million. But your pension per month is £1,000. Also remember, retirement is not just about surviving. You want to go on your holiday. You want freedom. You want comfort. You want a helping family. You want peace of mind. You want flexibility. And this is the part that is very important. To qualify for the full UK state pension, you need around 35 years of qualifying national insurance contribution. And to qualify for any state pension, you need a minimum of 10 years of national insurance contribution. But once again, the part that gets scary, a lot of people do not even know that they have gaps in these contributions because there are years that life actually happened. Probably long-term sickness, long-term maternity, a break in employment here and there. There are various reasons that could cause it. Some are also hitting 40 years old and have not contributed a dime to their national insurance. That means you don't actually have a visibility or have a rough estimate of what your pension package is currently looking like. But the good news is you can check this. Log on to gov.uk and check what your national insurance contribution is. Also check how much you have contributed because we need these figures to actually determine what our personal pension could actually be looking like. And then the kind of risk we can be taking on the investment field. All of this forms a part of it. And so for any good financial expert, all of this will be considered, factored in advising the direction to go with investment, and most especially if it's on the stock market, the kind of funds you should be going in for. And so we have to be careful on the internet. A lot of people are spilling, invest in that, individual companies or some form of ETFs. They are all great. They are awesome. But you see, you need one that will be tailored and suitable to your current need. A fund that, a risk that I can take that personally, it is acceptable to me, may not be acceptable to you because of your current package, how much you've contributed in your pension, where you are financially, what you are doing, and what your life skill entirely actually look like. And so it's also important that when we go onto the pension field and we are asking the right questions, we also ensure that we're speaking to the right person, bringing us back to order. Once again, if you want to work with YAT Finance, my stance store is there. Book a one-on-one. I have a session for our young youth because I believe in the youth. I believe they can be millionaires. See, there's nothing like impossibility with our young ones. I get a little bit emotional when I talk about them because if our parents had done that with us, they did the best they could. But there are some things, if they had done with us, probably you may not be watching this video. But you are here, you clicked this video because you need the information that is in here. They may have gotten it wrong with us, but we do not have a choice but to do right with our young ones. And so that is why I have something called like a boot camp. You sign up for your young ones and they have 4 times a month session with myself. Yeah. Where pure mentoring on finance and a life direction, a path, a trajectory path that a child can tow on. And with the leading of the Holy Spirit, I'm talking about God, there will be a destination. See, the records are there. And so we will leave it there. Now, let me show you one of the biggest hacks that will help you to bridge this gap quickly. One of the biggest ways to reduce the amount of money you need for retirement is to ensure. Now, let me say this. If you have watched this video to this level, don't let it be in vain. Take pragmatic decisions and take the initiative to put structures and systems in place. Because see, yes, I get it. How about if you are ill? How about if you die? A good man dies and leaves legacies. And how about if you are ill? How about the right treatment? How about affording the right medicine? You understand what I mean? And so please, don't just watch this video and do nothing. And that is why I keep saying that on YAT Finance, we are redefining what finance is. Now, one of the biggest ways is to own your own home. Housing in this part of the world is one of the most expensive expense on any other budgets, regardless of where you are in life. And so if we are able to own that home, and how do you do this? You can pay a lot. This is something everyone knows on the streets. Pay a little bit more on your mortgage. You understand? So if that mortgage is 25 years and the mortgage is, say, maybe £1,400 per month, just aim at paying an extra 200, 300, or £500 extra on that mortgage. And instead of you paying that mortgage for 25 years, in 15 years, you can clear that bill. So it is not impossible. This is possible, all right? So please, hold on. Even before you how am I going to own that property? Yes, yeah. You can own that property. Now, if you own that property, and by the figures I've given you, we need £1.5 million to retire. Let's value the property. So if the property is £500,000, minus it from 1.5, and we need to be working towards 1 million. If we want to retire at 60, and the property is, say, 500 to 600,000 pounds, let's subtract that from 1.2, and whatever you get out of 1.2, if it is 60, the 600,000 pounds left is what we need to be working on as our retirement package. So this is one of the ways you can beat the system and ensure, because your property is actually part of the pension package that we have calculated. And so wherever you find yourself, just do the mathematics as I've done with you. And now we know the exact figure we are looking at. So my retirement figure is £1 million, but my property is £500,000. I need to be working towards £500,000. It's as simple and easy as that. I've given you what system says. I've given you a hack. I've given you mathematically what life can look like. But the one thing I haven't given you, and I can't give you, is your ability to take the initiative. That is on you. That is the part you bring on board. Knowledge has been released. So that part is your responsibility. And I'm passionate about this, because sometimes I wish someone sat me down to speak clearly like this to me when I was 21, 22, 23, until I figured it all out at 28 moving forward. You understand? And so please, the rest is on you. Once again, I can't wait to see you at the top. This is YAT Finance. I'll see you in the next.